Alisa, a spirited young woman with a penchant for adventure, found herself in the heart of Nairobi one Friday night, seeking respite from the week's toils at the bustling bar, the Crescent Moon. With its neon lights casting a vibrant glow and music pulsating through the air, the bar was a haven for those looking to unwind. Alisa sat at the counter, nursing a cocktail and observing the ebb and flow of patrons. Her mind drifted, wondering if anything interesting might happen that night. Little did she know, her life was about to take a turn far beyond her wildest imaginations. As she was lost in thought, a figure slid into the seat next to her. She glanced sideways and found herself staring into the eyes of an impossibly handsome young man. He had an aura of mystery, with dark, intense eyes that seemed to hold secrets of the ages. His name, he told her, was Adrian. "Do you come here often?" he asked, his voice smooth and captivating. "Sometimes," Alisa replied, her curiosity piqued. "What about you?" "First time," Adrian said with a smile that could melt glaciers. They chatted effortlessly, their conversation flowing as smoothly as the drinks. There was an undeniable chemistry between them, a spark that ignited the moment they met. Over the next few weeks, Alisa and Adrian became inseparable. They met almost every night, sharing stories and laughter under the cloak of darkness. Adrian, however, was always elusive about his daytime activities. Whenever Alisa suggested meeting during the day, Adrian would come up with a litany of excuses. "I work nights," he would say. "And during the day, I need to rest. My job is exhausting." Alisa, though slightly suspicious, found herself increasingly enchanted by Adrian. There was something otherworldly about him, something that drew her in despite the red flags. She decided to let her worries slide, convinced that there was a reasonable explanation for his nocturnal habits. One night, after a particularly lively evening at the Crescent Moon, they decided to take a walk. The moon hung high in the sky, casting an eerie glow over the deserted streets. They strolled through the park, the silence only broken by the occasional rustling of leaves and the distant hoot of an owl. Alisa tripped over a tree root, and as she fell, her hand caught on a sharp branch. Blood oozed from the cut, and she winced in pain. Adrian, who had been walking a few steps ahead, turned around instantly. "Alisa, are you okay?" he asked, his voice tight with concern. "Yeah, just a small cut," she said, attempting to laugh it off. But Adrian didn't laugh. His eyes were fixed on her bleeding hand, his expression one of strange intensity. He took a step back, his face contorting as if he were in pain. Alisa noticed his reaction and felt a chill run down her spine. "What's wrong?" she asked, trying to keep her voice steady. "Nothing," Adrian replied too quickly, turning away. "We should get you to a hospital." They hurried back to the city, but Alisa couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. Adrian had seemed almost afraid of her blood. The incident gnawed at her, planting seeds of doubt that grew with each passing day. Determined to uncover the truth, Alisa started to do some research. She delved into folklore and myths, anything that could explain Adrian's strange behavior. One night, she came across an old legend about creatures of the night, beings who thrived in darkness and had an insatiable thirst for blood, vampires. At first, she dismissed the idea as ludicrous. Vampires were the stuff of horror stories, not real life. But the more she thought about it, the more the pieces seemed to fit. Adrian's aversion to daylight, his strange reaction to her blood, and his nocturnal lifestyle all pointed to something supernatural. She decided to confront him. When they met that night, she led him to a quiet, secluded spot in the park. "Adrian, I need to ask you something," she said, her voice trembling. "Are you a vampire?" Adrian's eyes widened in shock, and for a moment, he looked like he might deny it. But then his shoulders slumped, and he let out a long, weary sigh. "Yes," he admitted. "I am." Alisa's heart pounded in her chest. The reality of it was overwhelming, but there was also a strange sense of relief. At least now she knew the truth. "Were you planning to hurt me?" she asked, dreading the answer. "No," Adrian said quickly, his voice filled with sincerity. "When I first met you, I was hungry. But I couldn't bring myself to harm you. I've fallen in love with you, Alyssa. I've never felt this way before." Alyssa's mind whirled with conflicting emotions. Part of her wanted to run, to get as far away from him as possible. But another part, a stronger part, couldn't deny the feelings she had for him. "What now?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. "I don't know," Adrian replied. "I can't change what I am, but I don't want to lose you." For a while, they sat in silence, the weight of their situation pressing down on them. Finally, Alyssa spoke. "I need time," she said. "This is a lot to take in." "I understand," Adrian said, his eyes filled with sadness. "Take all the time you need." Days turned into weeks, and Alyssa struggled with her feelings. She avoided Adrian, needing space to process everything. She missed him terribly, but the fear lingered. One night, unable to sleep, she found herself back at the crescent moon. She sat at the bar, lost in thought. "Penny for your thoughts," a familiar voice said behind her. She turned to see Adrian standing there, looking as conflicted as she felt. "I miss you," she admitted, tears welling up in her eyes. "I miss you too," Adrian said, stepping closer. "Can we make this work?" Alyssa asked, her voice trembling with hope and fear. Adrian took her hand, his touch gentle. "We can try. I'll do whatever it takes to keep you safe." As they embraced, Alyssa felt a mixture of love and apprehension. Their journey wouldn't be easy, but she was willing to give it a chance. Love, after all, often came with its own set of challenges, and theirs was a love forged in the shadows. Their relationship continued, fraught with difficulties but also filled with moments of genuine connection and understanding. Adrian revealed more about his past, about the curse that had turned him into a vampire centuries ago, and his constant battle against his darker instincts. Alyssa learned to navigate the delicate balance of loving someone who existed in the realm of night. One particularly harrowing evening, Alyssa's fears were put to the test. They were walking through the city when a group of men approached them, their intentions clearly hostile. Adrian's protective instincts kicked in, and with a speed that was almost imperceptible, he defended Alyssa, his vampire strength overpowering the attackers. In the aftermath, as the men lay unconscious, Adrian looked at Alyssa with a mixture of concern and regret. "This is why I wanted to keep you away from my world," he said, his voice heavy with guilt. Alyssa, shaken but resolute, reached out and took his hand. "I chose to be with you, Adrian. I knew it wouldn't be easy. But I believe in us." Their bond grew stronger with each passing night. They found ways to coexist, Adrian feeding on animal blood to curb his hunger and Alyssa learning to accept his nature. They even planned trips to secluded places where the night sky was clear and vast, places where they could be together without the fear of discovery. One night, under the light of a full moon, Adrian presented Alyssa with a pendant, a small vial of his blood. "It's a part of me," he said, "and a symbol of my love for you. If you wear it, you always have a piece of me with you." Alyssa accepted the pendant, her heart swelling with emotion. She knew their love was unconventional, even dangerous, but it was also profound and real. As she gazed into Adrian's eyes, she saw not a monster, but a soul yearning for connection and redemption. In the end, love proved to be a powerful force, capable of bridging even the most formidable divides. Alyssa and Adrian's story was one of passion and peril, but also of hope and resilience. They continued to meet under the cover of night, their love illuminated by the stars and sustained by the promise of forever. And so, in the shadows of Nairobi, a young woman and a vampire forged a life together, proving that love could indeed transcend the boundaries of darkness and light. Please support our channel by leaving a like, comment and subscribe.